Okay, so this is a continuation of this. I guess you'd probably call it a video standard operating procedure for what I would hope would become the regular targeting of schools with high numbers of down access points. So to recap, we have exported our data from Hivemanager into a spreadsheet. The spreadsheet has been uploaded onto Google Sheets, and we've inserted our formula here, which allows us to pull out the second octet for each listed host. And then we've generated a pivot table, which orders a table ordered by the second octet field that has the most down access points. And so if you want to look at the first one, which was 10.135, if we go over to Hivemanager, we go to Monitor, and we twiddle our thumbs for a second, select access points to make sure that we're only looking at access points. And of course, off the top of your head, you don't know what 10.135 is, but it's very simple to just put in a filter, and on the management interface to put 10.135 and to search on that. And it turns out this is West Palm Beach Full Service Center Holding. At this point, it also occurs to me that if you remember, I had manipulated my monitor view for access points, taking out a lot of fields. So what I want to do is actually restore that. So if I look at the fields I'd like to have clients back in, it's quite important to me. Device model, knowing whether it's an AP 120, 121, 170, 330, whatever, that's important to me. I also like to know about my channels and power. So I want to know my 2.4 channel, my 2.4 power, my 5 gigahertz channel. I'm not generally concerned about my 5 gigahertz power. Probably want to rearrange these a little bit. A host name, IP address, topology map can probably, an uptime actually is possibly something that I'm not that concerned about. Device model I do kind of like to know about. Topology map. Usually I'm looking at access points based upon their IP address, so let's put that down. So anyway, that's just me rearranging my fields. And of course, West Palm Beach Full Service Center Holding is obviously a site which is down because it doesn't have any access points. So going back to the spreadsheet, I've already dealt with most of these, but to give you an example, let's go down to one of the ones which has 9. So let's take the site which has octet 79. So we come back over here, we put in our filter again. I'm going to say 10.79 dot. Okay, and this is Boca Raton Middle School. And I realized that one of the fields I'm missing here is actually the connected field, which is going to tell you whether it's actually connected to Hivemanager. So connection field. So that's kind of important. So I'm probably going to put that up, maybe going to put that all the way up, even in front of host name. Okay, and save. And of course, now I'm going to organize them. Well, let's organize them by uptime, and that will give us our down APs as the first in the in the row. And kind of quite strange, and you notice here that we've got one which is ahead of the others. Well, it's in the middle of the downs. So thinking about what we want to do here, and I realize I'm missing another important field, which is actually location. So I'm going to put location back in. And again, location is actually probably more important than host name for me, because I will usually want to refer to access points based upon their location in a school and not on their host name, because, okay. So one of the things you'll notice, we haven't mapped Boca Raton Middle School. And I've actually realized this is a bad example to choose because we don't have any mapping data for Boca Raton. So we're going to have to go to another one. Although the principle of getting this organized by uptime so that the down access points are first in the list still applies. So what we want to do is actually pick a school which we have data for. So let's go for 111. Let's see what happens at 111. Ideally, what I'm looking for is a school that we haven't mapped yet, but which does have mapping information in 9231 com server. So this is one, Coral Reef. And as you guys hopefully know, we have shop underscore shared. So 9231 com server shop shared school department info, and that was Coral Reef Elementary School. So we see elementary schools. We can go to Coral Reef. We look at the dates on our inventory sheet. We've got wireless LAN completed the 21st of March 2013. That's a long time ago now, 4 years. But we'll open this up. And what we're trying to do here is we might decide when we're tackling this particular school that we're going to map the whole school. But what we definitely need to do is, if we're going to contact the school tech and tell him that we would like him to address the issue of down access points at the school, we certainly need to be able to point him in the direction of the access points that we believe are down. So if we go over here and we can see that we have 1C6 100, and what we're going to do is we're going to modify that, and we're going to do a control find 1C6 1. You don't have to use the last 0 in this because all access point MAC addresses end in a 0. Okay. And this is actually hard to spot here, but that corresponds to room 160. So I'm going to go back to my dialog here, and one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to 01-160. The reason I'm using 01 is that we have schools with double-digit building numbers, and we want to make sure that the 01 comes out before 10. Or more to the point, we want to make sure that building 2 is listed before building 10 when we sort by location. And the way we do that is we prefix the buildings from 1 to 9 with a 0. So that's the reason I kind of ended up doing that. So the idea is that we are going to work through at least the set of down access points in order to be able to determine whether we know where they are, and to be able then to contact the school tech and try and get the school tech to do something for us. I mean, I think the situation is that when you see a school that's got that many down access points, especially in elementary school, because 9 access points down in a high school that's got 150 access points is probably not that bad. But when you're looking at an elementary school, which has half that number, um, you may not be working with the most proactive and engaged school tech. So we're going to try to get that school tech to do something. And if they don't, then we're perhaps going to have to open a ticket for ourselves and make a site visit to address issues there. Okay, so I've worked through the down access points to determine the location. And what looks to be of concern, if you look here, we have building 128, 130, 132, 135, 138, 140. And that looks to be a concern because that looks to be a concentration of access points in one particular area, which is almost certainly a classroom building, which are down. And the next step I would recommend once you've got the locations figured out is that you actually open up the PDF, he said, and then notice that he can't actually see a PDF. That's actually quite weird. Oh, there it is. For some reason, it's showing a PDF as a Chrome document. But let's open it up and see what happens. Yeah, it opens up in Chrome. A bit weird, this laptop. But if we look here, then we can see that we've got 140. So this wing here, but I'm trying to move the mouse cursor, hopefully you can see it. The access points are numbered 25 to 28, 29 through like 35. That wing is a mess, you know, and you could expect there to be problems at that school. And I'm looking at this school and realizing this is, at least the main part of it, is the same as quite a number of other middle schools that I've seen, certainly the same as Sunrise Park Elementary. But we got this whole wing where we've got a lot of out access points, and that looks like it needs to be addressed. If we look at building 3 and go back to our spreadsheet, we got 3110 and 3107. 3110, 3107. Again, you know, those are diagonally opposite. So that's a little bit problematic because those are in close proximity and you can't necessarily be relying on the other access points in neighboring classrooms to serve them. You're probably okay, but certainly the other building is a lot more problematic. And at that point, you know, if you had determined that there were 9 access points out in a school, but they were very, very widely distributed, and that the school has drywall construction, then you say, well, this is not so serious, let's not worry about it. But, you know, in this case, this is actually quite serious, and it's certainly worthy of escalation. So I would recommend at that point that you actually contact the school tech. And what I would probably do actually is just take a screenshot of these room numbers and you know, try to action the person to do something, to go out and to provide you with a report as to what exactly is going on. I mean, potentially to try and restore the access points to service, but certainly to report back to you so that you can then take any further required action to get these access points back online. Okay, video over.